and close it up 15 minutes earlier so you have enough time
Thank
to
you.
get to your location.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Good to go?
Yes.
We are live.
Okay, thank you, Roland. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Education MLL Curriculum Subcommittee. Today is Wednesday, October 18th. Time is now 5:02. With me this evening, I have Board Member Sherry Pritchett. I also have Francis Saez and Ms. Taylor Da Silva, both from the Family Center. And with that being said, our first item on the agenda is minutes. Sherry, were you able to review?
Yes.
I do have a couple of corrections.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. So move minutes. I think it was from the June meeting, right? If I'm not correct, if I'm not mistaken, it was kind of a way back there. Was it June minutes, I think?
I have, they go way back, April, actually. Those are the
April, okay,
ones.
okay. 'Cause I know I wasn't there, I know. Go ahead.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
I do show two corrections on the names. Alyssa's last name is spelled wrong, and Taylor's last name is spelled wrong through the whole, every time they're mentioned on the minutes. So if we can correct the names on the minutes, that would be greatly appreciated. With those corrections, motion to move forward, approve the minutes. I can't hear you, Sherry, if you said something. How about a hand, because I can't hear you. All right, minutes have been approved with both of those corrections. Thank you. All right, so now I'm gonna send the meeting over to Ms. Saez to get us started this evening. Thank you, Francis.
Great. Thank you, Diana. So we're going to begin with welcome to our first MLL subcommittee meeting for school year 2023-2024. As you all know, my name is Francis Saez, the Education Administrator for Multilingual Learners and the Family Center Supervisor. And with me today is Taylor Da Silva, my Assistant Education Administrator for Multilingual Learners.
Good evening, everyone.
So in today's meeting, we would like to update you on our Family Center registration and multilingual learner data for Norwalk Public School. We've been working digitally to ensure that all families are provided with an excellent service and that our scholars are enrolled in school as soon as possible. Then we're going to discuss the learning opportunities that we've conducted throughout the district and also the opportunities that we have been participating in to develop our own professional growth. We also want to share our areas of celebration. We have identified several upcoming events and workshops that will be providing valuable information and resources for our families. And we encourage everyone to spread the word and encourage families to participate in these district-wide events like the Hispanic Heritage event that's coming up tomorrow. So thank you all for joining our meeting. We look forward to a productive and engaging discussion. Let's work together to make a positive impact on our families and our community. So on the next slide, for school year 2023 and 2024, we are presenting our current enrollment data for MPS. It is important for us to have a clear understanding of the number of multilingual learning students in need of services that are enrolling in our district. This data will help us identify our diverse student population so that we can allocate services and resources according to our scholars' needs. And based on the data provided, we currently have 11,563 scholars enrolled in MPS. Out of those numbers, we have a total of 2,484 multilingual learners enrolled in this school year. This represents approximately about 21% of our total MLL enrollment. And additionally to that, we have 1,941 students in need of specialized services. And this represents 17% of our students in need of specialized services. These students require additional support and accommodations to meet their individual learning needs. The multilingual learners, the specialized learner department collaborate to provide the necessary service to help these students thrive academically throughout the year. Furthermore, we have a total of 510 students. That's 4% who are duly identified, meaning they are multilingual learners and students in need of specialized services. These
And
students really require a comprehensive individual approach to their education.
And excuse me, but those are in addition to the 2,000 and the 1,000. Those are an extra,
No,
or are
those
they
are,
included?
that's
Okay.
an excellent question. They are included in the 2,484. And out of the 2,484, there's 510 that are duly identified.
Thank you.
As an ML department, we'll continue to monitor and analyze our data to ensure that we are meeting the needs of all our students. On our next slide, we're comparing our MPS student enrollment for 2022 and 2023. Now, mind you, I have to inform you that we pulled this data October 1st of 2023. We're comparing it to October 1st of 2022. But from October 1st to today, we had an influx of registrations, and I'll share that data with you at the end of the slide. In this slide, as I stated, we're comparing the 2 years when our data pool was pulled October 1st. And what we found is that there's been an increase in the general ed student population, in the multilingual learners, and on those duly identified compared to 2022, as you see in the slide. I just pulled the data for today, for October 18, in terms of our enrollment. And right now, we have a total of 11,704 from the time that I pulled October 1st. So we have already an increase of 141 scholars in a matter of 17 days.
Wow.
Now, this next slide is a very important slide, and it's important for our community and for the kindergarten families. This is our current kindergarten registration. As you all are aware, we open up the Family Center, as I shared in our previous ML subcommittee, on Saturdays for the kindergarten registration, so we could handle the magnitude of registration and language assessments. As you can see, we register a total of 845 kindergarten scholars. We finalized and enrolled for this coming school year a total of 830 kindergarten scholars. The family representatives have done an amazing job. This is 4 ladies, actually 3 ladies and 1 gentleman. We currently only have 15 scholars pending enrollment. What does that mean? What it means that the families put in a registration, they start the application, but for us to finalize it, they must submit all documents required by the state and by the district to be able to finalize their enrollment. So for example, they must submit proof of residencies, their physical, their immunization, their IDs, families' IDs, to finalize the registration. And this is monumental to only have 15 scholars in kindergarten pending, because last year when I came into this role, I know by July, we had pending cases like 700 and something, and we had to try to expedite them immediately. So the Family Center has really been doing an amazing job to ensure that families are registered, enrolled in school immediately, and we don't have scholars waiting to be processed to get into school. One thing I must add is that based on our home language surveys that we administer to all families, we administer a survey to determine, based on their responses, whether we need to assess the student or not. So in the survey, there are 3 questions asked of families. What is the primary language used in the home, regardless of the language spoken by the student? What is the language most often spoken by the student? And what is the language the student first acquired? If a family member answers a different language other than English on any of these three questions, we are mandated to assess the scholar. So in the kindergarten, we were required to assess 364 scholars. That means the family reps assess 364, they score those assessments, and they must complete an intake form to inform each individual school of the scholar's score and whether they require the services. Out of the 364 scholars, as you see in the slide, we had identified a total of 249 scholars that qualify for multilingual services. That is 68% of our kindergartens that were screened qualified for those services. One important information that we must share with all kindergarten families, upcoming kindergarten families, is a new policy, and that policy is for 2024, 2025, new entry age for kindergarten. And this is going to impact a lot of families. For school year 2024, 2025, the new entry age for kindergarten in the state of Connecticut has changed, and students will need to turn 5 on or before September 1st of the school year to be automatically admitted into public school. However, the legislation also allows for a school district to admit a child who has not turned 5 by September 1st if the parent puts a request in writing and the district assesses that child. Given these new requirements, our district is in the process of actively participating in discussions to establish a process that is equitable and ensures that all families have access to the new information in a timely manner, so that families can make informed decisions and understand the options that are available to them. So our district will continue and focus on collaborating with families and advocating for the best interests of our students and families in Norwalk. Now, one of the data pools that I pulled for this year that I thought it was important, especially with the change in this policy, was that I pulled if, for instance, this policy was mandated, let's say, for September 1st of 2023. I pulled my data of the number of current kindergarten scholars that turned 5 after September 1st in 2023 to make a projection of how it would have impacted our community if these changes would have taken place this year. The total number of students that this or families would have impacted would have been 250. Now, we don't know if our scholars for the incoming 2025 school year will be exactly 250, but we normally pull these just to make a ballpark projection of the magnitude of the families that could be impacted. It could be a little bit less or a little bit more, but usually the projections are close. On this slide is the 2023-2024 grades. I separated the kindergarten so that we could have the data based on the changes that might affect us next year, but this is grade band 1st to 12th grade. On this slide, the registrations, we did registration for a total of 600 scholars. And out of 600, we have finalized 535 scholars enrolled, new enrollment in our school district. We assessed 338 and a total of 185 students, grade 1 to 12, have been identified as multilingual learners. We currently only have 65 scholars pending delivery. Now, mind you, I also told you we still need to look at the data of the influx of the 141. So some of those still need to be assessed and identified because those scholars just registered were after October 1st to current, and we're still processing those. In our summary, we've had assessed between kindergarten and 12th grade, 702 assessments administered and 435 total MLLs. We currently have from these numbers 80 pending scholars that we're processing and following up with families, making sure we get the documents in. And on our final slide, Taylor.
Sure. So I would love to share the MLL population with you. So right here, we do have our MLL totals as of October 1st from 2020, 2021, 2022, and the current year 2023. So as Francis shared before, we are 21% total of our total enrollment population of MLLs, and 21% in the numbers that we have right now, it's actually a 10% increase from October 1st, 2022 to October 1st, 2023. So we really are growing in our population. I have the total number of enrollment per school here as well. And I really would like to share with you the percent of MLLs per school. And when we look at our highest percentage of multilingual learners in our school, South Norwalk, our neighborhood school, is our top at 44%. We also have Kendall Elementary at 43% and Jefferson at 40%. So our population is growing, and we really welcome these students in our district and really support them. I would like to pause right now for any questions. I know that this was a lot of data, a lot of information shared. So Francis, I know you might have had one more thing to add in there too.
Yeah, please feel free to let us know if you want us to return to any specific slide so that we could talk about it. And we're open for Q&A.
So what I was going to say, so these numbers are reflective of that October 1st date, not the numbers that came in subsequent to that, right?
Correct.
That's correct.
So really, these could really be higher than some of the, right? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, would you be updating these numbers for future reference? Because I think it's, it's very important for the public in the city to see the increase of these students. But for me, it's just amazing all the work that's being put in. And like you said, by a small staff, you have staffing at the schools, but all of this is being done at the family center, and it takes a while. It's not like just walk in, fill it out and walk out. They have to have all their forms ready. You have to have all these conversations. If you don't have someone that speaks that language, you do have to do it. What's the program that you have by phone?
The language line.
Yes, the language line. So it's not that it's a simple task. It's a very, very detailed task. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it depends on, sometimes we'll have like a family of 3 come in. That family of 3 could take between an hour and an hour and a half. Or we may have a family of 1 that comes in with all the documents and we're able to register them in 20 minutes and get them finalized as soon as possible.
That's great.
So thank you. On our next slide, Taylor's going to talk about our professional learning opportunities, the ones that we conducted and the ones that we participated in.
All right, so these are some of the professional learning opportunities that were presented by the Multilingual Learner Department. I really want to highlight the one that was done on Friday, August 11th. We were able to have a group of secretaries come into the Family Center, and we really provided a comprehensive overview of the registration process to secretaries that support the Family Center within each of the schools. What was really great is we do know that we have a small staff, so So we were able to put a family representative. Our family representatives are assigned to each of the schools. So we were able to put the representative assigned to the schools to sit with them. They've been on the phone with them. They email them, constantly. There's a lot of back and forth. So it was great to get some FaceTime and to really meet with the secretaries and let them ask any questions and get any feedback from our secretaries on, how we can further work together to support all of our families in Norwalk, not just the ones that are new and incoming, but also the ones that are currently in the schools, to get those families into the family center and really welcome them here, either through our workshops or additional resources that we provide, not only to just our new students. We also have a couple other opportunities here, and we were able to present to our new teachers this year, which was really exciting. It's nice to be able to meet all of the new teachers and be able to introduce them to the different work that's going on within the district and be part of that collaboration. I also want to share a few learning opportunities that we were able to participate in to further our professional growth. I want to highlight the district learning walks that actually took place last week. District learning walks took place last week, and it was a collaborative movement between different departments. So it was with executive leadership, it was with the schools team, the curriculum team, district leaders. It was with school administration, the principals and assistant principals, and also the coaches within the schools. So the most amazing thing is that these instructional look-fors here are aligned throughout all departments, all schools, all staffing, and the focus of instruction is standards-based learning. So everyone knows exactly what we are looking for when it comes to instruction. The principals are using this when they're conducting their learning walks within their schools. We're using this as a district. So it was really great to come together. We went to 7 schools last week. We're going to do another 7 in December and another 7 in February. And we were able to walk as a team. We were able to mix in different groups of district administrators, school administrators, and coaches, and go through many different classrooms with these look-fors to be able to provide schools and administrators with feedback to implement into their schools for professional learning. And it also gave the executive leadership and curriculum teams a really good vision of what's going on so that we can really help support the schools.
I have to add that our focus for this round was planning and preparation, that component, and we're moving on into the planning and preparation and engagement. So we're scaffolding and supporting school as we develop our instructional look-fors.
This is just a few photos from our new teacher orientation. The teachers really loved engaging in the different tasks, and we loved having them. So before I pass it back off to Francis to share some celebrations, any questions so far on any of the professional learning?
Was that professional learning slide, the learning walks, is that a new initiative? Did you all do that prior, or has it been refined, or is this something totally new?
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's been really refined in a nice way. I think within each of the departments, we used to go in and do look-fors and support schools, but now we're doing it as an entire team, the curriculum team, the supervisors of the principal, coaches, and principal. So we're doing it collectively, and we're all looking through the same lens. Across the board, our focus is on standard-based instruction and supporting schools, administrators, and teachers with that focus.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we were all able to norm together too and have those conversations rather than different groups going in at a different time or the school administrator. So it was really good to have those conversations. There was a lot of positive feedback that came out of that.
Yeah, that's a good point for you to add, Taylor, because we normed together as a team with the principal and the coaches first, our first round, and then we went out and split up into other classrooms to observe for our look-fors.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll pass it back to you, Francis, to share some of our celebrations.
Great. So our first celebration that we're going to talk about today, I love this one. This occurred at the Family Center on September 16, 2023, on my birthday. It's Speak Up and Speak Out event initiated by our student body. It took place here at the Family Center. Diana Copper attended this event and will share with us the amazing discussions that came up from our scholars to our board members. I love this because this was initiated by the students. They reached out to me, they reserved. I loved it because this empowers them to speak up. Diana, why don't you share with us what happened in those discussions?
Well, first of all, happy belated. I didn't even know that day was your birthday. I would have called you. But no, it was a wonderful event. I had bumped into a couple of students that wanted to meet. They wanted to ask, how do they meet board members and how can they get their voice heard? And I just told them, reach out to the family center. They will help you put something together. And you know what? It was so organized, so detailed. The questions they were asking, the information they were bringing, you know, it gives the Board of Ed a different lens into what's going on in schools, because they're the ones that are in the schools and experiencing everything that's going on, any decisions that we make, curriculum, safety, attendance, any of that. They're the ones that are in those classrooms. But it was amazing to have the individual students, all seniors, all from different high schools. All 4 of the high schools were represented. And they had some really, really good detailed questions. I had wished we had more time with them. There's going to be a couple more rounds to go because there was a lot that they wanted to talk about and a lot that we needed to ask them too. So it started with questioning us, but it ended up being a question on both sides. And it was a wonderful event. And I hope to see the students again.
Yes, definitely. We welcome that. And I have to tell you, the onus is on them. They reached out and they organized this event on their own. They really did an amazing job.
Impressive, right?
Yeah.
Different group, were they tied in with the Center for Youth Leadership at all, or no? Because I know that group over there, they're pretty active. So this is something totally separate from.
Totally separate.
All right. I mean, as you know, this is something that I like because I've always advocated for the fact that I would like to see student representation on the board at some point.
We did
So
discuss that. We just
Yeah.
need to figure out how that would work
we're going to do
on
it. Yeah.
our end and on their end, you know, again, to make it fair for everybody. But it's a lot of detail to discuss and try to put a plan together, but I'm sure we can make it work.
I mean, perhaps they could do it through, you know, do they still have student council? They've got leadership organizations within the school. So maybe there'd be some way that they could do it through that. But yeah, you're right, that it needs to be discussed to try to figure out the best way to make that work. So
Correct.
I think that would be wonderful.
I agree.
All right, so we talked about our enrollment before, and we have a lot of new families that come to the Family Center, but I wanted to share with you an updated representation of the Family Center visits. The number of visits that we have had over the past year have been absolutely astronomical. We started here last August. Last August alone, we had 708 visits. We've been here 1 year now. This August, it even increased. We had 887 visits. So if you look at August and September from last year to August and September this year, our visits are increasing every single month for our new year. So in just a little over a year, we've had almost 6,000 visits by families to the Norwalk Public Schools Family Center. I know that we feel blessed and privileged every single day that we get to have this FaceTime with these families. And this isn't just for new enrollment. They're utilizing services here. They're coming straight to us if they have a question or an issue that they need. And really, we've had even students come in here that have either withdrawn or dropped out of school, and they want to know how they can come back. They're coming in here for resources and advice and just to talk. So it's really been great. The door is always open here. And 6,000 visits really show how much our families are utilizing our center.
Yeah, I just have to make sure to be mindful that these visits do not include the workshops or the events that we have here. It's just visit for registration or assessment questions. Families come in here to be supported. They feel that like they need support so that we could advocate for them in terms of the schools, and we do that as well.
Yep, thank you.
On our next slide, thanks to Diana,
I love this.
we Thanks
It's
to
not just
Diana.
me, it takes a
Diana
village.
started this with Norwalk Mutual Aid and the Family Center. This really brings tears to my eyes because the smiles that come out of this pantry or the facial expression of relief just warms my heart. So we've had 174 families visit our pantry. We're supported by Filling the Blanks, Starbucks, Norwalk Mutual Aid, and the community. Every other month, we do stock the pantry. We're going to have one in November, and the community always comes out and lines up to fill up our pantry. I have to say that since the opening of the pantry, I I think you might be in agreement, Taylor. There hasn't been really a day where we depleted at all. It always keeps getting stocked, thank God.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you,
You
Diana,
know,
for
it was an
reconnecting us
idea
to mutual aid.
and we just ran with it and look at it now. And it just, I've been there when families have come in for help and just to see that, like you said, the relief, especially in the mom's eyes when she knows that she's going to be able to feed her children is amazing. We take a lot for granted and there's still a lot of families that need help. And
Yeah.
I am glad that the Family Center is there for that as well.
Thank you.
Good work. It looks good. Very good.
So now on this slide, we want to present some of the events that took place in September and October. One of our major events, the story of Little Red, took place where a teatro, a bilingual production, was held on Little Red. And it's called Little Red because the role of the wolf and the Little Red Riding had switched. So it was a funny tale and there was a twist to it. And we have a total of 269 families that attended this event. It was an amazing performance, and our staff dressed up like Little Red Riding Hood just to engage the kids. So we had a wonderful time. We just mentioned the other event, Speak Up and Speak Out, that Diana talked a little bit about. But our special ed department also conducted a workshop on the PPT process, the planning and the placement. So the families have an understanding of the process and an opportunity to ask questions about how the process is rolled out in our school system because it's very new to many families. And Stacy Bergen did a workshop on using the story The Night You Were Born as a mentor text. She did a literacy workshop with families where families share their own stories about when their child was born. And they were engaged in that storytelling with their own children at the family center. And the outcome was they're writing as a family together the story of when their child was born. It was very engaging. And the kids were having fun and asking questions of their family about that particular time in their lives. So it was very, very engaging. We had 30 families register, but the total of families that attended were 12, and I wish there were more. So we really want to engage more families in these workshops.
You know what? These are great workshops. And I, as a Board of Ed member, wish that I could join them all. But as you know, we are all very busy with our meetings. But it's wonderful to hear all of this. Can you imagine just the thought of sitting there with your child and writing where you were born, your own story, your own little book of information for your child to bring that with them and move forward with that and then share it with their children. That's wonderful.
I thought of like just doing it with my own kids. I thought, wow, I never shared with my own kids. Like, I think everybody remembers that day, right? With their children, that experience of how they came into this world. So I think we're going to do that with my family as well.
I think I'm going to start to.
Some of the stories are funny too, right? The experience of getting to the hospital and how each one, you know, is different in their own way. And you notice from the day of the birth, like the personality that they're going to have, the way they cry. It was very engaging.
It's really great that that our EA Stacy used this mentor text too. It's really a magical story that really kind of brings in a background about how families are feeling coming up to that day, and on the night you were born, the stars aligned. It really makes a child feel special. And so it was really great to have her bring in those books as well. These are just a few images and flyers of our events that have been happening. We wanted to share with you our pictures from the true story of Little Red. We really got into character and we really enjoyed the performance. We also wanted to let you know to save the date. So these are a few of our upcoming major events. We have a couple workshops. We do have our second annual Spooktacular drive-by event at the Family Center. We're going to hold that on Monday, October 30th. It'll be after school. We'll be here from 3 to 5 p.m. or whenever the candy runs out, we'll still be here. And it's family friendly. The Family Center will be all dressed up, and parents, they drive their kids in, they collect a little goodie bag, they get to hear some music, some cheers, and just sort of drive through. We also have the repertorio coming back for 2 different shows in November and December. We're going to have our second annual holiday read aloud with Superintendent Dr. Estrella, where our students get to visit our Family Center toy closet. And it was really magical last year. We're so excited to put this event together for a second year now.
Diana was here last year. It was amazing.
Yeah, my son said, sign him up. He's ready. He's going to bring friends to come and help too.
Thank you. We need as many elves as we can. But for the Halloween drive-by, it's going to be 70 and disco themes. So any board member that wants to join us and help out, you're invited. We're going to be discoing and giving the snacks and the gifts to the kids as they drive by with their family. So if you see us with an afro or long hair and our bell-bottom
Great
pants,
idea.
that's the reason.
I love that.
We also wanted to share one family's personal experience of their experience here at the Family Center. The video is in Spanish. I hope you're going to be able to hear it. We tried the audio before, but the translation is in English right below.
Buenos días, estamos muy contentos aquí en el Centro Familiar de las Escuelas Públicas de Norwalk. Estamos felices porque fue un trato especial, fue algo tuvimos respuestas inmediatas de todo lo que vinimos a buscar, conseguimos respuestas sobre todo. Los niños están felices, la señora que la inscribió, no recuerdo bien su nombre, también fue muy diligente, fue excelente. Estamos muy agradecidos por toda la ayuda, de verdad que contentísimos. Venimos de Venezuela a pedir ayuda y recibimos todo el apoyo que necesitamos. Muchísimas gracias.
And we end with that note. She was very grateful. The kids were provided with backpacks to get them ready to school. She was very emotional and said she wanted to express her thanks. And one of the RSCs said, you mind sharing it? And she said, yes. And she spoke very warmly about her experience at the Family Center. Okay, and we end with the last Q&A or comments.
No questions, but I'm in
With the
awe.
good work. I'm impressed every time I come to a meeting with all of the good work and results that you guys are getting. So onward and upward, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And if we can take that off the screen so I can see you guys, you ladies. Thank you. But yes, thank you for everything, all the hard work. I mean, this warms the heart, because that's what we're here, right? It's for the children and the family.
I'm blessed with this job because you're right. It warms our heart, like seeing smiles in children's faces, and it's really a community service.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you. Thank you. let's see, next on the agenda, public comments. I don't see anybody with their hands raised, and I know that there were no public comments emailed this evening. So with that being said, thank you. Have a good evening. Motion
Thank you,
to
guys.
adjourn. Bye.
Thank you,
We
everyone.
close on
Thank
time.
you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.